Welcome back to the Beat 94.5.
And we are live in the kitchen. G'day, welcome to Chef's Favorite. I'm James Grass, and today we're with a very special guest, Chef Mark Singson. Mark is an incredible chef. He's had some wonderful stints here in Vancouver working at Annalena and Bonita, as well as some time in Australia working at Voudemont and St. Crispin. Mark is now a private chef based in Vancouver, BC. He gets gigs all over the world doing private stints for both short-term and long-term dining experiences. Today, he's gonna be making one of his favorite dishes. I can't wait to show you what he's up to. Welcome, Mark. G'day, mate.
Hello, hello.
Lovely to see you.
Good to see you. How are you doing?
Very good. I'm thrilled to be filming with you today. A Chef's Favorite is all about talking to our chefs and getting to know their favorite things. So today, we wanted to know a little bit about what's your favorite dish right now?
It's summer, so the dish I'm kind of working on is a lightly seared tuna with 3 types of tomatoes, and we lightly marinate it, and we make a dressing out of the tomatoes for the tuna.
Goddamn.
Nice and light, super crisp, and summer 2022.
Sounds pretty good. All right, well, let's get stuck in. Let's not wait around.
So we're actually gonna start off with some tomatoes, and we're just gonna slice them up, season them, and then let them marinate. And as you put the salt and sugar on them, they're gonna pull out some of their moisture, and that's the liquid we're gonna use for the dressing.
Oh, okay.
So it's like tomatoes dressed in its own juice. You don't want
That's kind of cheeky. It's
the best.
I can get on board with that. Now, it looks
own
like you got
juice.
about 5 different kinds of tomatoes.
Don't ask me what they are. So
They're tomatoes, though.
they're tomatoes.
All right.
First step is to get the tomatoes marinating, because the tuna, we'll slice it, clean it up, and then we're gonna sear it and let it cool. But it's best to marinate this a little bit earlier because it needs time to macerate.
Sweet.
Okay, so we're just gonna cut the tomatoes right in the middle. And we're just gonna do different kinds. So the yellow ones, the orange ones.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite colored tomato?
The brown.
Is there a taste difference? Actually, that's a good question. Is there a taste difference between a green tomato and a brown tomato?
Yeah, and the green one's a little bit more tart and firm. Different purpose, good for frying. And then the overripe ones, I love to use them for dressings just because they have so much juice and the sugar starts to develop.
Yum. Okay.
And yeah, so I'm just gonna take actually the top part here. And
That's a particularly sharp knife you have there, chef.
It's all right. Try my best.
Do you have a preferred chef knife brand?
I like Japanese knives. I can't even think of what brand this is, but I know I got my knives from Ianon, which is in Chinatown. Dougie, super nice dude.
All right.
An ex-chef, and now sells knives. He's an OG in the industry, so
Sweet.
I always want to come and support him.
Love that. Do you sharpen your own knives or do you get them professionally sharpened? Uh-oh.
I professionally sharpen them myself.
Right, yourself, okay.
Yeah, but there are times where I'm kind of in the juice and I'll send it to Doug, and I can always rely on Doug for that.
How often should a home chef sharpen their knives?
If they're using it every day, probably on a stone once a week.
Once a week?
I don't know, that's just me.
Oh my God.
It's because the more you work on the knives, the less time it'll take to sharpen it. Right, and using the steel with just keeping it nice and honed. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out which tomatoes I want to use.
We had a guy come in like a mobile chef wagon. And he came
I've
in
seen
like
those vans.
Yeah, he came through and these knives went from like fine to like holy, like sharp Moses. Let's go. I don't know what sharp Moses is, but yeah.
So we got these tomato slices. Again, we're just doing one portion, is that correct? Like a little bit,
Just for me and you to taste.
For you and I.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little taste.
Excellent.
It'll be like a date.
So whatever salt we found in the house is what we're gonna use. So pink Himalayan salt. Again, we're just pre-seasoning this so it actually seeps through and pulls some of that moisture out, and that kind of helps us with our base of our dressing. Okay. So we'll let that sit. We put it in the fridge. I'm probably gonna give it a splash of vinegar, a little bit of oil, just to sort of really get it started.
And the vinegar brings the acidity up?
Yeah, it just needs a little more freshness for me because these tomatoes are quite sweet, so I'm just working on trying to figure out the balance.
What sort of vinegar are you gonna use?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I forgot which one I brought, so.
Very excited.
White wine vinegar.
Yeah, you did.
Organic, of course.
Of course it is.
Crushing it.
And so you said that we could use this or any kind of vinegar for this?
Any vinegar would be good. Even sherry or balsamic. So right now I'm just going for white wine vinegar. So I'm just gonna let it marinate. A little bit of that and a touch of olive oil. Again, we're just starting the marination process, so it's good for a base.
Yum.
Okay, so we've added salt, pepper, olive oil, and vinegar. We're just gonna let this sit in the fridge. And then we'll get on the tuna. So we'll clean it, sear it, and then let it chill. Then we'll get on the assembling of the dish.
Love it. All right, the tuna time. What sort of tuna are we working with?
So we got albacore tuna. It's from BC, and I picked up this tuna from Seafood City in Granville Island.
Granville Island, the mecca of Vancouver food.
The homies.
Yeah, right on.
Shout out to Brian.
Shout out to Brian. That is a beautiful looking piece of fish. So I didn't know that tuna, that they lived here in Vancouver.
Yeah, we have albacore tuna from BC.
Okay, is that the only kind that lives out here in BC?
I believe so.
All right.
I'm just gonna trim the edges just because I know there's always an A cut and a B cut. So I consider this the B cut. I can use that for, again, tartare and other dishes. Even like tuna tonado, I'm sure you've seen that in a lot of Italian restaurants in Vancouver. There's like, I don't know, 100 Italian restaurants.
There is.
So,
there is about 100 Italian restaurants. Do you have a favorite? Which is your favorite Italian restaurant in Vancouver?
Shout out to Savio Volpe.
Savio!
Fellow number 2 is, he's one of my favorite chefs actually.
Yeah, they do great work, don't they?
And Paul Grunberg, I'm a big fan of Paul. I just always looked up to someone like Paul. Just he's made some really good decisions in business and locations of his restaurants. Yeah. So now we have it all cleaned up, and then we're gonna give it a light seasoning, and then we're gonna sear it, then let it cool, and we can slice it. So when the tomatoes are already ready to go, and we can just assemble a dish.
Yum.
First of all, let's double check how this works.
Yeah, this is a serious piece of hardware.
It's serious, but pretty straightforward.
Oh.
We got the tuna. We're just gonna season it up. Again, super gentle, not too much. You can always adjust, right? There's seasoning is those moves that you want to layer, but you also can't season too far in advance or too much because there are steps that you can't take back. So you got to make sure you just build the flavor along the way here. So we got it seasoned, we got the salt and pepper. Our pan is preheating, and that should probably take a little, we want to get it to high to medium, and it's not necessarily smoking. And again, we're gonna sear this really lightly. Most people like to sear it hard with color. I don't want any color at all. I feel like the texture changes, so I love it super light, and it's gonna get super
So what are
soft.
you talking, like 20 seconds aside kind of thing?
Like 3-4 seconds.
Is that it?
Yeah, and then keep it rolling. And we're just gonna add a little bit of oil. It's olive oil, but it's not the good one, so you can actually sear with it. Okay, so the pan's ready, and I'm just gonna get this on. Okay, so the tuna is lightly seared. We're just gonna put this in the fridge, let it set while we...
That is incredible how light that is, because that was literally seconds that you were doing that, right? Like 2-3 seconds. But you were turning it with your hands. Did you burn your fingers?
A little bit.
You wouldn't recommend that for the kids at home?
I was kind of crying inside, but I wanted to flex in front
Hey,
of
you
my
know
chef friends.
what? Let the guys know out there, the chef industry, you still got it.
I know. Okay, so yeah, we'll put this in the fridge and we'll set up the rest of the next components. So the tomatoes have been marinating.
Do you want me to run this to
Yeah,
fridge?
to the fridge, please. Thank you. We'll just leave it out. It has to defrost a little bit.
Do you actually want me to
No,
leave it
yeah,
out?
leave it out. Yeah. We needed to pretend TV magic. And then we'll get someone to pass it from us back here. And then we get like this.
The magic of television. The magic of television. We can pretend that this is a fridge.
Yeah.
It's just here, it's in the fridge.
I've seen houses like that.
I believe it.
The tomatoes have been marinating. It's really important that you give this liquid a little bit of a taste. And then we adjust. Let me taste it first before you taste it, because if it's
No,
not
I
good,
wanna
then,
get in
I'll,
there too.
then I'll adjust it now. Yeah, get in there. I'll probably add some, like, a little bit more sugar. But you can see where it's such a good base. The idea is you should be able to taste every single component. I think that's, and anything that I make could seem complicated, but as long as I can taste the main
Each layer.
components, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the vinegar, the salt, it
Yeah.
all jumps right up, and then the tomato as well. And that was resting for what, 20 minutes, half an hour?
Yeah, roughly half an hour.
Love it.
Magic.
The magic of television, ladies and gentlemen. The magic of television.
So we're actually just gonna take all that juice, and then we're gonna readjust the seasoning. Again, every single tomato is different, so it's always good to taste first, and then adjust accordingly.
Okay.
And
Yeah, a little bit of this.
a little bit of
that.
salt, a little bit of pepper. Okay, and maybe a splash more vinegar.
Do you have a favorite chef in the city?
I have a few. Good handful. Lee Cooper of L'Abattoir is, I would say, one of the best chefs in the city, for sure.
Right on.
Yeah, I love that restaurant.
It's a real institution, hey?
Yeah,
They've
they've
like
been there for
pumped
a
out
while.
some talent over the years.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite dish on the L'Abattoir menu?
Yeah, the baked oysters.
The baked oysters.
Yeah, it has like a garlic sabayon with black truffles and like a mushroom relish or
Savage.
marmalade. Yeah. Something like that. And then the hack is you take their bacon brioche and then you use it to clean up the shells.
Uh-oh. Perfecto. That was Italian. Perfecto.
Perfecto, thank you. Learning so much today. Just adding a little bit of sugars for balance, not to make it sweet. It's really important. And any dressing or any vinaigrette.
Yum.
A little whiskeroo. And we'll add some lemon juice, a little bit of lemon zest, of course, finishing the dish. And we'll get on some of the few other things I want to add. So the cucumber, jalapeno, a little bit of kick. And then, of course, the thinly sliced kohlrabi just for a little bit of texture.
Do you have a high pain tolerance for chili? Do you love chili?
My palate does, my stomach does not. Yeah.
I'm familiar with that.
Yes.
It's a hell of an adventure. Do you have a favorite spicy chicken sandwich?
I already know. A&W Chicken Buddy Burger.
Went to the buddy. Wow.
Shout out to A&W.
I mean, that's a hell of a good burger. One of my favorite questions. You have to eat one cuisine for the rest of your life. What are you having?
It's for sure Filipino food.
Filipino food?
Yeah, I just grew up eating such amazing Filipino foods, especially made by my mom. And I've always been surrounded by really good cooks growing up.
Yeah, right on. Is that where you learned to cook, your family?
Yeah, always helping out in the kitchen and always an excuse to eat, so
I like
it's
that.
good to help. Little cheeky snacks.
Is there a favorite dish that takes you back to your childhood, like a comfort food, like this just like the warms your heart the moment that you smell it or taste it?
Chicken adobo, kare kare, it's like a peanut stew with like oxtail.
Yum.
Super good, served with like a side of shrimp paste. Just anything Filipino, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like right now, as I get older, I feel like I'm trying to find out more about my roots because growing up in Canada, moving here in '98, I felt like I was trying to be more westernized. And as I get older, I was like, damn, I really should have tried to forget.
So were you born in the Philippines?
Yeah, I was born in the Philippines, Manila.
Okay, and then you moved here when you were how old?
I was 8.
You were 8 years old?
Yeah.
So that's quite a sea
Roughly
change.
around '98, so you can kind of guesstimate how old I am.
Yeah, he's old as balls, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
He's an old
fuck.
boy. So you moved here in '98.
Yeah.
Did you grow up speaking English or did you grow up speaking Tagalog? Is it Tagalog?
Tagalog, yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up kind of speaking a little bit of Taglish. All the shows I watched as a
Taglish?
kid. Yeah, Tagalog and English.
Oh.
Yeah, so I went to like a school that was, I guess it was a private school because we had the old outfits, but
Cool.
some of the classes were in English and it was so sort of, I guess, Americanized because we had to do the American anthem and the Filipino anthem on Mondays. And I watched a lot of Cartoon Network growing up.
What was your favorite cartoon growing up?
Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo.
Is that?
No.
Are you Johnny Bravo?
I might be.
Yeah, Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab.
Powerpuff Girls.
all
Did
that
not
jazz.
see that coming.
I love any cartoon. I actually love cartoons
Do you?
till this day. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of a little cartoon nerd. So.
Hey, you know what? Everybody needs to switch the engines off
There's
somehow,
a few
right?
things that like it's really important that I have different hobbies and interests outside of cooking because I feel like all I think about is food. So when I sort of found that balance to sort of think of different things, it just kind of helps me solidify my dishes even better just because I'm not overthinking.
Chef, I've been harassing you with a lot of questions.
That's okay.
Probably time for us to get cracking on the cooking here. I'll
Okay.
jump out of your way and let you do your thing.
Okay.
Cheers, chef. This looks absolutely incredible. Little sake bomb to go with our tomato dish.
I can't wait.
Okay, so you finished the dish.
And we're just gonna finish it with crispy shallots too. I completely forgot. So
Pretty.
look at that. Adds a little texture, sweetness, and then a little bitterness as well.
A little crunch, that's fun. Here's me in the front of house not doing my job properly. My apologies.
Classic front of the house.
Classic.
Textbook.
This smells incredible. The first thing that I notice on the nose is that little bit of vinegar and the chili oil that you dripped in there as well. And those crispy shallots I can smell right away. Anything else that we should know before we tuck in?
We finished it with a little bit of yuzu, and again the crispy shallots just for a little bit of texture.
It's pretty much summer on a plate right there, isn't it?
Summer 2022. You go in first and tell me what it's
All right,
like.
here
I'm
we
gonna
go.
watch.
Yeah, this is the intense part. I've seen all the shows. So you want to get a little component of everything, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of the crispy, get a little tomato in there too. Here we go.
And the whole idea, it has a bunch of different textures. So as you eat it, you can have a little bit of spice. The cucumber is cooling, so it's like an adventure in every bite. Adventurous choice.
Yum. That vinegar sits at the back of the palate. The chili comes through really nicely. That kohlrabi's fun too, hey? Is that just more on the crunch side and texture side? Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah, it adds a nice texture personally for me. Clearly, I don't know how to eat, so.
That tomato's got it in for you, hey?
I'm going down.
That is fan-freaking-tastic. Oh, what are you missing there?
I think it's good to go, but I think it's just a little bit more of little finishing salt.
The old Malden finishing move.
Plus, that adds texture as well. So
It's like the suplex of the chef, right? It's a wrestling reference for those at home. We were chatting a little bit earlier as well about the Philippines. Is there a Filipino restaurant in Vancouver that's your favorite?
I do like Pampanga's cuisine, which is on Fraser Street. It's a very casual. It's called turo turo, or it's like basically you point and it's like they're basically slow food but fast food. So they sit on the Bain Marie. But honestly, it's very comforting, and it's not like my mom's cooking, but at least I know it's good Filipino food. So
Takes you back.
takes me back. Super nice.
What about Korean barbecue or Korean food in general? Is there any?
Yeah, I love
Korean.
I love sura.
Sura.
Yeah, sura's super good.
Okay. Is there a favorite dish from Sura?
In the summer, I don't know what it's called. I don't want to bastardize it, but it's like a cold buckwheat noodle dish. So it's like a cold broth with ice in it, a little bit of mustard, vinegar on the side. And it's got like this thinly sliced, I think beef on it.
Yep.
And just cold noodles.
Yum. Sounds pretty
Yum.
yummy. Is there a favorite noodle place in the city? Any cuisine? Like you could go with favorite noodles being Italian, could be Japanese, could be Chinese noodles. Any noodle. What's your favorite noodle?
For noodles.
Like I'm a sucker for Dan noodles. Like,
Yeah?
I'd crawl across broken glass for just one mouthful of Dan noodles.
It's weird though, because for me, I do love pasta.
Yeah.
Just done well, super simple.
Do you have a favorite pasta restaurant in the city? Like Italian pasta, obviously, is what we're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
I guess like, Savio.
Savio again, yeah. Oca Pacifico seems like they're putting out some pretty cool
I haven't
stuff.
gone. I heard it's really good.
Yeah,
I heard good things,
I've heard
so
good things too.
that's on the list
Yeah.
for sure.
What's our guy on fourth? La Quercia? I hear he does some savage pasta.
I think they're one of the first OGs to sort of take that concept, a small room that does fresh pasta, and then it worked really well, and then everyone kind of just followed through, I guess.
Probably perfect.
Could be wrong, but I feel like they're one of the OGs.
Favorite late night cocktail venue? You finished a shift, you want to go for a drink, whether it's a cold pint or a cocktail. Is there a favorite spot?
There's a few, just because they're the only ones kind of open, I guess. The Kiefer, the Diamond, sort of that whole Chinatown, Gastown block, that area. And I try to catch last call in these Japanese izakaya places, just because you're able to get a few snacks and some beer. When you're after work, I just don't want any fuss, to be honest.
I love Japanese beers.
No.
At like the end of the day, frosty cold Sapporo.
Super crisp. And then like if you catch last call, again, being able to have multiple dishes before bedtime, because when you go to other places, the portions are quite big. So when you go to these izakayas, they're just perfect portions for one or for two.
Okay, this is the finishing question, which is my favorite question. You have one final meal on earth before you disappear. What's your final meal?
Yeah, fried chicken thighs specifically, or chicken wingettes, no drums, flats only.
Flats only.
Flats
That's
only.
my guy.
Flats only, it's the best.
Feed it drumsticks.
And garlic rice with like pepper gravy.
Wow, you've thought about this, haven't you?
Oh yeah. You take the skin, you roll the rice, you dip it in the
get
gravy.
out of here. You get out of here. That's delicious. Well, that's it for another episode of Chef's Favorite. Chef Mark Singson. I'm James Grass. That was awesome. Thank you, Chef.
You're awesome.
We'll see you again.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Pleasure.
That was awesome.
Much love.